This is the transition on Atlantic Television Network. Despite several plans and warnings by both the federal and state government, security agencies, stakeholders and concerned organizations, both in Nigeria and outside the country, citizens of Nigeria still proceed in protesting against end bad governance and hunger protests across different states in Nigeria. Citizens in Rivers State also joined their counterpart in other states to stage the peaceful protest. ATN correspondent reports.
Port Harcourt was at standstill today as residents of Rivers State trooped out en masse to protest against bad governance, hunger, petrol hike, amongst other challenges in the state and country at large. The protest, which began today, the 1st of August 2024, will run through to the 10th of August 2024. The protest, which kicked off at Pleasure Park in Aba Road, went through to the Rivers State Government House in Port Harcourt, Rivers State. The protesters carried placards with inscription "End Bad Governance," "Stop the Hunger," "We Are Hungry," "Reduce Petrol Price," amongst others. Speaking during the exercise, some persons who seems like the coordinator of the protest accused President Bola Tinubu of initiating anti-people policies, inflicting hunger and hardship on Nigerians.
Demanding for reforms in government, demanding for a renegotiation of the structure which we call Nigeria, that has so far enabled corruption, inept corruption in our system, that has so far impoverished our people, impoverished the common man to stupor, to a point where the common man cannot breathe. The poor are suffocating, the poor are dying, the poor cannot afford minimum health care requirements to take care of their families, the poor cannot afford food, the poor cannot afford education, the poor cannot afford anything anymore. We are here to tell the president, to tell our National Assembly to sit up, to listen to Nigerians.
We said today we are going to come out to demand that there should be an end to bad governance. Bad governance must end, and that is what we are working on. So we came here not to pass our message to the governor, so he should pass our message down to the president, telling him that we are tired of the suffering in Nigeria. Petrol pump price should be reduced.
We are suffering from food crisis as a result of bad policy. We never attain self-sufficiency, and you are closing borders and making, how much is minimum wage, how much is a bag of rice? The people have been patient over time until we've stretched our patience. People cannot buy food, people cannot buy fuel, you can't create jobs, people can't go to farm because of insecurity.
However, some of the protesters also expressed their grievances.
We cannot fold our hands and die at home out of hunger. We have endured, we have been discouraged, we have been threatened. But we said no, all die and I die. We are here. If the police that we are fighting for wants to shoot us, let us shoot us. We cannot die at home because of hunger. Let's change governance. We need a change in government. Bring down the cost of fuel, rice, beans, everything.
We are tired of this. So we are angry. That is why we are protesting. Let government do something. God has blessed us in this country. We are blessed. Angry day.
We are here for good governance. We are here for employment. We are here for things to come down to the normal price that is affordable for everybody.
The way the country is now, nothing is working in the country. Nobody is surviving. There's no means of survival anymore.
Addressing the protesters, the Rivers State Governor, Sir Similalayi Fubara, acknowledged that there is hunger in the states and country, but promised to engage Rivers youth meaningfully.
Thanking you because you are peaceful. That is the first thing. I'm thanking you because we want a better Nigeria. But like I said yesterday, I am one of you. I feel your pain. And in our own government here, we are doing everything to make life easy for our people. We will communicate your problems to the federal government.
ATM News, Port Harcourt.
Analyst has advised leaders to be proactive on issues of great security interest. Speaking on Atlantic Television Network program Blowout, a social-political analyst, Mr. Ekeya Siekeya, said Governor Siminalayi Fubara should reveal talks contract to hijacked protests.
Tell us the names of the people who have contracted these talks that wants to sabotage the peaceful protests. What have you done? Have you written to the Commissioner of Police or the IGP? Have you prepared a prosecution, process? Because your duty as a governor is to protect lives and properties of citizens. So if any person is fingered to be a sponsor of criminals, thugs, or whatever you may call them, to hijack the peaceful protests, then you should be able to tell us that men and brethren of Rivers State, President of Nigeria, Mr. this and that, Mrs. this and that, have planned, have contracted some hoodlums, some thugs to destabilize the state in the guise of what? Protests. So I'd like to see His Excellency make bold and mention some of these things so that the reactive nature of our leaders most times is what is not very encouraging. I want to see our governors being proactive on issues, especially when it has to do with great security interests. So His Excellency, the information you have given to us by the fact that you are aware by intelligence, a credible intelligence.
On his part, Mofasa Enyimosa also advised security operatives to work on intelligence to unravel and identify criminal elements and sponsors.
Was there the JSS, some other relevant security heads were also present at the stakeholders meeting, and they know what to do. The governor can only provide information, to the extent of a need-to-know basis. Then it's not left for security operatives to work on such intelligence and unravel, identify those criminal elements and their sponsors. So for me, I do not think it will be appropriate to say that the governor should begin to name the names of those who he has perceived to have gone out their way to get talks to disrupt the protest.
You don't think that's necessary information?
Now he has provided what is necessary. That is even in other states. The state governors have equally made similar statements. Even the presidency has also made statements like this, that in fact, they even make references to elements outside the country. They didn't mention names. They only say they are aware. They are aware that elements outside the country are trying to topple the government. They didn't come out with any names. So it is not left for those security apparatus, for the agents who are responsible to carry out intelligence investigation and unmask this individual. And unless that is done, I think, what is in public domain now is, to the best of our knowledge. And then again, I also do not want to agree with, though he said the people gathering now could be the
This is coming after Rivers State Governor Siminalayi Fubara raised alarm over a plot to use mercenaries and talks to destroy valuable infrastructure in the state in the guise of protest. Governor of Bayelsa State Duye Diri has urged chairmen of the 8 local government areas of the state to set up task force to tackle crude oil theft in their various councils. Dere, who disclosed this during a meeting with the local government chairman at the government house in Wa, said the decision to set up the local government task force on oil theft was born after the meeting between governors of the oil-producing states and the national security agencies. advisor Nuhu Ribadu in Abuja. Governor Dire said the incidents of crude oil bunkery and theft have seriously impacted revenues, accusing to oil-producing states as well as environmental degradation. Adding that, the local government task force are expected to collaborate with the Bayelsa State Community Safety Corps to check crude oil theft. He also directed the oil chairman to produce accommodation for officials of the National Drugs Law Enforcement Agency to enable them to carry out their duties in their areas, and directed that all public offices, markets and businesses across the state should open for business on Thursday. He gave the directives during a costly call by the Minister of State for Petroleum Resources, Heniken Lakbaberi, at the Government House, Yenugwa, and while acknowledging the right of the people to protest in a democracy, he stressed it must be for good reason, which could be resolved through dialogue. Network of Benin Ethnic Nationalities Organization has called for the cancellation of the protest that it could lead to the breakdown of law and order if hijacked by hoodlums. A statement by the group urged the protesters to listen to the wise counsel of the Oba of Benin, Omoere II, who last week called for the suspension of the protesters and urged the citizens to give the government more time to fix the country. The president of the coalition, Ojo Oha Uwem, appealed to all head of communities, youth leaders, religious leaders and parents to persuade their wards not to be part of the protest, which they feared may be hijacked as well as experienced in previous exercises. Also speaking of stakeholders in organization, Osaro Iyamu said they were not against the protest, but they must respect the advice of the Oba of Benin, and the experiences have shown that the protest could be hijacked, stressing that the recommendation of the NSAS panel of inquiries has not been implemented in the state. On his part, the director of student engagement of the National Association of Nigerian Students, Comrade Stephen Imafidon, said absentees from the protest does not make them less human, but rather more human, because the tranquility and peace of the state is a collective effort. Ahead of the September 21 governorship election in Edo State, the National Working Committee of the All Progressives Congress has set up a 197-man council to lead its campaign. In its list released by the APC National Organizing Secretary Suleiman Arungu, Cross River State Governor Basi Otu was appointed as the chairman of the campaign council. Otu will be assisted by Katsina State Governor Diko Rada and former Edo Governor Adams Oshimole, who were announced as co-chairman and deputy chairman respectively. Other members of the 197-man team include Senator Ovie Omo Agege, Assistant Secretary, while the Senate President Godswill Akpabio, Speaker of the House of Representatives Tajudan Abbas, as well as the Minister of Aviation Festus Keyamo, Ogun Governor Dapo Abiodun, his counterparts in Lagos, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and other governors elected on the platforms of the APC. Also on the list is the reinstated Deputy Governor of Edo, Philip Shaibu, who recently defected from the ruling People's Democratic Party to the APC, while the AP governorship candidates set on Monday, Okwe Holo, will be facing the candidates of the ruling party, Asuo Igodalo and Olumide Akpata of the Labour Party in the September 21 poll. Ex-militants under the aegis of the Akwa Ibom ex-agitator forum has warned the youth in Akwa Ibom State against embarking on what they call exless protests in the state. Vowed to mobilize protesters strategic places to protect public infrastructure and property from being vandalized and looted during the protest. Chairman of the forum, Albam Polinus, who disclosed this while addressing journalists in Uyo, the state capital, described the protests as counterproductive and a threat to the existing peace in the state. He also said they believe in maintaining peace and stability in the state and acknowledging the economic challenges faced by Nigerians, stressed that there was need for dialogue and collaboration and the government to find lasting solutions. Polinos pleaded with the people to give President Bola Tinubu a chance and called for patience, while Chairman of Obolo Youth Council, Emmanuel Esang, on his part, said the day of taking to the streets are over as demands are achieved through dialogues. Several journalists and activists has been beaten, handcuffed, and taken by security agents to unknown locations in Calabar, Cross River State. Eyewitness say the managing director or editor of the online newspaper Cross River Watch, Jonathan Ugabel, is among the arrested journalists, and they were taken by security personnel, along with other activists who engaged in a peaceful protest early Thursday morning to an undisclosed location. The journalists were followed some activists around the popular Mary Celeste roundabout in Calabar, where a handful of protesters had gathered on Thursday, the first day of the 10th-day planned nationwide protest. This comes when Obal posted his video on a morning showing that the surrounding road to Mary Celeste's roundabout where this started. Reacting, human rights activist James Ebo said the arrest of activists and journalists was condemnable and reprehensible, adding that the security agents who arrested the journalists arrived in 4 Hilux vehicles and SUVs heavily armed. Abia State Governor Alex Oti has abrogated the payment of promotion examination fees by public servants in the state effective from the ongoing 2022-2023 promotion exercise. The Abia State House of Service Ngozi Queen Obioma, who disclosed this in Umoya during a meeting with the top management staff of the Office of the Head of Service, maintained that the directive has come into effect. Mrs. Obioma also called on civil servants who are eligible for the 2022-2023 promotions, convention and confirmation to proceed to the Office of the State Head of Service along with 2 passport-size photographs for registration from August 1 to 5, 2024, adding that those eligible for the written examinations are civil servants from grade 10 and above, as well as those going for convention and confirmation. The Abia State Head of Service warned that no civil servants should be subjected to any form of payment in these promotion exams, as this would be flaunted the governor's directive. She enjoined permanent secretaries ahead of the department and agencies to ensure that the directive was fully complied with. Federal government has begun the distribution of agro-input worth 2.8 billion to 14,000 farmers in Anambra and Enugu State under the Agricultural Transformation Agenda Support Programs Phase 1. The Minister of Agriculture and Food Security, Senator Abubakar Kari, who disclosed this during the agro-input distribution of the National Agricultural Group Scheme Agro Pocket in ATASP1 Adani Omo Zone in Isiuzo Council area, and represented by the Director 2 Program Coordinating Unit in the Ministry, Dr. Peter Okish, said the distributed farm input to ATASP1 farmers were redeemed and subsidized rates. The minister said Adani Omozona had not benefited from the subsidized inputs because it was off-season at the time of planning, and expressed that they need to implement the program in Enugu and Anambra State. Kayari said the agricultural policy of the federal government was aimed at the attainment of food efficiency and overall socio-economic development in the country. Mba, represented by the State Commissioner for Agriculture, Patrick Guberu, said the offering of subsidized inputs was a crucial step towards enhancing agricultural productivity and enhancing food security in our states. Lagos State Government is set to commemorate the 2024 World Breastfeeding and Maternal Newborn Child and Adolescent Health Plus Nutrition Week. The state said it would be implementing interventions towards promoting exclusive breastfeeding and improving health-seeking behavior, particularly among mothers and children under 5 years. While speaking on the government's preparation for the week-long activities, the special advisor to the governor on health, Dr. Kemi Ogonyemi, said the state would use the medium to improve the health-seeking behavior of the populace, adding that the week-long activities would be highly impactful with all 329 primary health care centers, 752 mobile teams, and over 3,000 health workers trained and prepared on implementation strategies. She disclosed that mobile team would visit crèche, schools, and playgrounds to administer deworming tablets and vitamin A to eligible children. Lagos State Police Command has arrested 2 suspects and recovered a large acre of weapons in the Moshin area of the state. A statement released by the State Police Public Relations Officer ASP Benjamin Nduin on Thursday said the tactical team responded to a call about armed men on Agoro Street, Ashin area, around 1 a.m. and arrested Sheriff Mustafa, 42, and Suturat Latif, 28, while 1 other suspect escaped. The police recovered 2 AK-47 rifle, 1 K2 assaulted rifle, 1 red rifle, as well as 3 pump-action rifles and 2 local-made single-barrel pistols and others. Students of tertiary institutions in Ogun State have distanced themselves from the nationwide protests against hunger and poor governance scheduled to begin yesterday. The students under the auspices of the National Association of Nigerian Students and National Association of Ogun State Students said, although they were not against any group protesting, they would not be participating in a protest. A protest tagged "End Bad Governance" is scheduled to take place in a 36 states and capital territory and order from August to 10th over the rising economic hardship in the country. While the students were staging a rally against the planned protest in Abeokuta, the state capital expressed concern that the planned protest may be hijacked by hoodlums to cause chaos and disrupt the peace of the country. Addressing journalists during the rally, National President of Addressing journalists during the rally, National President of the NAOSS, Thomas Kainde, called on students not to join any protests and to shun any call to participate in anyone under the guise of nationwide protests, adding that clandestine factors could come into play and thereby escalate a situation from just a peaceful protest to violence and will heal wind which blow anybody good. Federal Capital Territory Administration has unveiled medical palliative scheme to boost healthcare delivery in the territory. The scheme led by the FCT Minister Yesom Wike in Abuja offered free medical treatment, drugs, surgeries, foodstuff, and among others to patients in Gwarimpa General Hospital, Abuja, adding that the scheme had a sustainability plan for achieving long-term goals for the well-being of the people. The mandate Secretary of the Federal Capital Territory for Health Service and Environment, Dr. Adedolapo Fasowe, said every patient at the hospital for the day would get free medical tests, treatments, and surgeries, and they would be paid for by the health insurance scheme, adding that the members' number of individuals enrolled in the health insurance scheme in the FCT grew from 104,000 to 180,000 over the past year. She clarified, however, that the free medical palliatives will not be provided daily. Instead, patients will receive sufficient medication to last for 2 months. In response, the Coordinating Minister of Health and Social Welfare, Professor Mohammed Pateh, praised the FCTA's initiatives and expressed support for President Bola Tinubu's mandate to enhance the health of Nigerians. Pateh highlighted that this is the first time the medical palliatives is being introduced in the FCT and encouraged all the states in the country to emulate the FCTA scheme and caution Nigerians against relying on harmful traditional practices for healthcare, particularly during childbirth. Police in Abuja on Thursday fired tear gas to prevent protesters of End Bad Governance from gaining entrance into the Eagle Square. This is coming after the protesters in their numbers on Thursday shown an order by the Federal Capital Territory which restricted the protest to the MKO Stadium in a state. Justice Salvanus Origi gave the order on Wednesday while delivering a ruling in an ex-party application brought before him by the Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Nyesom Wike. The three-arm zone where the Eagle Square is located is a seat of power as it houses the Presidential Villa, National Assembly and the Supreme Court, as well as the Federal Secretariat and head of the Savers. The protesters, however, marched to the Eagle Square where they initially planned to use to make their voice heard. However, at about 10:30 a.m., when some journalists were trying to intervene, some of the protesters, a policeman fired a canister in that direction, and while many flee in different directions, a young woman with a baby went straight to the policeman and confronted them to kill her and the baby.
To them is that we should calm down. It's a process. Anybody that they give birth to and he clock 1 year and he started doing things and making this thing, then that person should be a spirit. We are appealing to ourselves and we are telling ourselves that, say, calm down, this country is going to be good, this country is in a safe hand. And in fact, what has the government not done for the youth? Outside, we all know the hardship, and the president is at the top of it. We, this same government, in 1 year, increased the salary from 130% and also make it 3 years. Same this government of Buhari, of Tinubu, also unanimously said, okay, no school, no youth, no student will go out of school again because it's not, you don't have money to pay for your school fees. Is it not for the youth? Okay, we come again and said, okay, there is hardship, what can we do? Large numbers of people said, okay, this and this. It's schemes that you can buy a vehicle, you can buy a house without having money and pay back. Is it not the same government? So that we should come back in a layman voice and talk to them so that we will not be mentioning the schemes. A lot of initiatives, over 10 initiatives. How will you describe them? Well, some of them are calm, some of them wants to go on the street. But like we said, little numbers of them are aggressive about it and say no. You can't get, if you know you want to remove the president, go wait till another election and come and cast your vote. Nobody is afraid of any protest. We are full on ground. And the security people have made sure that they want to secure. So nobody's against the government. Nobody's against each other. But they should also do the right thing. Do your protest and go back to the house. Like I said, I've been into over more than 100, 500 protests in this country. Okay. And which we run successfully. Okay. And what we are saying is this. And clearly, there are problems, there are hardship, and it is clear. And the president is listening to everything and is going to act on everything. And all the things also that they have put in place will also be attractive, taken care of. But you are free to protest. But what we are also saying is this: don't let them use us to cause violence and destroy our structure. So I'm just here to do a solidarity and say we can protest, but don't let us use us as the agent of destruction to the country.
Before then, a mild drama played out when the Minister of the State for Youth Development, Ayodele Olawande, arrived in the area to address the protesters, and as he tried to speak, his voice was drawn by the protesters' loud chant of anger, disallowing the minister from speaking.
My family husband now, because of this problem where we have for Nigeria. Look at my child now. We come to protest. Just they don't shoot and tear gas anyhow, and this innocent child, where she don't know anything.
Peaceful protest. We have not done anything. You cannot see it.
Yes.
What happened to him?
Just they don't kill him. Nothing happened.
Where was he killed?
Katsina.
What happened? How was he killed?
Abandoned for bush, for farm.
So your husband was a farmer?
Yes.
Before he died?
Yes.
Oh. That is the reason why you are here to voice out.
Yes, sir.
Okay then.
Benue State Governor Reverend Father Haisin Alias said the 93 billion naira bond secured by the administrations was for infrastructure. The Deputy Governor Samude, who disclosed this, said the state has secured 93 billion naira to secure and infrastructural development in the state. Ode, who represented the governor at the town hall meeting organized by the special advisor in conjunction with the State Ministry of Information, said the bond would be used to curb insecurity and develop projects in the state. The disclosure attracts condemnation by the group's defender of democracy, which caused the accused state government of plugging the state into serious debt. The president of the group, Amos Chief, accused the state government of taking a sum of 133 billion naira within a year of being in the saddle. Responding through his chief press secretary, Kula Tasso, the governor said the bonds were transparent and would not be misused by the recipient, and urged critics of the government to go around the state and see constructions ongoing, and that every money accused back to the state would be judiciously spent. Yes, some weekend minister of the Federal Capital Territory has stated that security agencies have identified a senator as one of those sponsoring the anti-government protest. Wike made this revelation shortly after an emergency FCT Security Council meeting on Thursday night in Abuja. He explained that it was discovered after the senator had contacted some security operatives to escort a truckload of food intended for the protesters. He mentioned that in due time, the relevant agencies will invite the senator for questioning the minister while acknowledging the protests as permitted in a democracy, emphasized that the protesters have a duty to respect the court order limiting their activities to the MKO Abiola National Stadium in Abuja. In a red youth activism, children aged 8 to 13 and youth took to the streets of Jalingo on Thursday afternoon to protest the prevailing hardships. The children chant Bamu I, which translates to we don't agree, to draw attention to the challenges that are ongoing. The protest began on the popular Hamarua Way and proceed towards the flyover bridge, and notably landmark in the city. And participants, primarily children and teenagers, were vocal about their grievances, demanding immediate action to alleviate their suffering. Eyewitness protesters were closely monitored by personnel from the police and Nigerian Security and Civil Defense Corps. Minister of Communication, Innovation and Digital Economy, Dr. Boson Tijani, is not happy with the destruction of the channel just day before its scheduled launch. The Digital Innovation Park, designed to support Nigeria's technical talent accelerators program, was reportedly set ablaze and looted during the protest on Thursday. The incident occurred as part of the wider unrest in Kano, where protesters targeted the yet-to-be-commissioned Nigerian Industrial Park and highlighted the immediate impact of the destruction on planned initiatives. The minister characterized the damage as a setback for the journey to deepening the workforce for technology and creating job opportunities for the Kano State Governor Abba Yusuf has declared a 24 hours curfew in the state after the protests against economic hardship in the state turned violent. A statement issued by the government spokesperson Lucy Tofa on Thursday said the decision comes after an emergency state security council meeting dedicated to addressing the escalating violence and disruptions that have emerged amidst civil demonstrations. Tofa said the safeguard lives and prevents public and private property. The decision to implement a curfew was made unanimously during the emergency meeting. The call on all citizens to remain vigilant and united during this challenging time. The statement said all security agencies in the state have been directed to ensure full compliance with the curfew, and citizens are urged to heed at this directive for their safety and the well-being of all. You're watching Transition on Atlantic Television Network. We return after this break.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring on-the-spot news, live analysis, expert discussions on trending stories in politics, business, socio-economy, sports, and documentary. Catch all the updates on the happenings around the globe. Stay focused on the fact today, only on ATM.
People into the country illegally. That is amazing.
Honorable
you human
Honorable
Welcome back. This is Transition on Atlantic Television Network. And now the rest of our stories. Senate ad hoc committee set up to investigate alleged case of corruption and inefficiency at the Abeokuta Steel Company Limited and the National Iron Ore Mining Company from 2002 to the present has raised an alarm over the bogus budget of the company. Speaking at the resumption hearing, the committee expressed shock that the troubled company could budget 4.2 billion naira in the 2020 budget for less than 10 workers. At the hearing, where key stakeholders from the Ministry of Mines and Steel Development, represented by the Permanent Secretary Director from the Central Bank of Nigeria and the Bureaus of Public Enterprises, the Nigerian Engineering Union Workers of Nigeria, among others. Leading the probe, the senator representing Kogi Central Senatorial District on the platform of the People's Democratic Party, Natasha Akpoti Udugan, questioned the rationales of the 4.2 billion for personnel. She questioned the steel company's sole administrator, Somalia Abdul Akaba, to provide information on how workers receive pay from the 4.2 billion naira allotted for personnel costs in the 2022-4 budget. Adding that, she paid an unplanned visit to the company and found less than the employees, despite the steel company's numerous annual personnel has been made a no-my rule, and expressed her dissatisfaction that has a negative of the area, she was eager to get the steel company back up and running. Analysts have declared disappointment concerning the previous state of Nigerian database and follow-up mechanism. Speaking on Atlantic
actions of the opposition lawmakers. There are, as far as my exposition, that the beauty of this democracy would have been, as we have gotten, almost a seemingly majority that will go toe to toe.
From the line across the ocean to the land beyond the mountains, through the Sahara, we bring all sport news.
This is coming after the minority caucus in the House of Representatives on Monday staged a walkout when a bill to amend the total advances by the Central Bank of Nigeria to the federal government from 5% to the maximum of 10% was being investigated. Civil Society Legislative Advocacy Center has called on the protesters to maintain peace tensions and incite further unrest. Reckless and provocative statement by public officials can incite Nigerians to take to the street. Such statements undermine the legitimacy of the protesters' concerns and should be avoided. Independent people of Biafra has called Ndibo across the country not to join the ongoing nationwide protest and bad governance protest. The pro-Biafran group said rather than joining the protest, Ndibo should be security alert and protect their lives and property after the protest. The group added that both IPOB, Ohanaeze Ndibo, and many other Igbos groups have already warned them not to join the protest, alleging that the security reports at their disposal Desperate indicated that security agencies had concluded plans to carry out targeted attack against Ndibo during the protest. A statement on Thursday, the group, through its spokesperson Emma Powerful, claims that they were also planned to sponsor criminal elements in the southeast to carry out violent protests to provide opportunities for the security agencies to launch attack against Ndibo during this period. The group said although Ndibo are facing the same economic hardship that others are facing, they are usually the victims of any protest in Nigeria. Nigerian Education Loan Fund says it has disbursed a total of 1.17 billion naira to 20 students in 5 of the public tertiary institutions that apply for the loan. The managing director of NEL Fund, Akintunde Soye, who disclosed this in a news conference in Abuja, said NEL Fund would be increasing the number of beneficiaries based on application, adding that the fund is working on revealing another 100 institutes whose application has an additional disbursement of 850 million naira would be leave net funds to various institutions due to receiving the loans. Ministry of Finance has failed to release a sum of 4.9 billion naira meal subsidy for 112 federal unity college across the country. Minister of Education Taye Mahmad, who disclosed this to his finance counterpart Wale Edun, said the finance ministry failed to release the intervention for November and December 2023, but went ahead to pay the interventions for January 2024 to date. The immediate past permanent secretary of the FME Ndidi, Wilson Jack, who is now the head of the civil service of the Federation designate in February 2024, wrote her finance counterpart asking that the intervention for the 2 months be released, adding that the failure to release the subsidy was affecting the smooth running of the colleges. Maman said the failure of the ministry to release the fund led to accumulate debt in its 112 unity schools. The director of press of the Ministry of Finance, Mohammed Manga, could be respond to multiple texts, could not respond to and calls to clarify them. Pan-Yoruba Social Political Organization Afin Ferry has commended the federal government for rolling out 50 kg bags of rice to be sold for 40,000 40,000 naira, lower from the current 70,000 naira market rate. The federal government declared a cheaper rice on Monday as part of the measures to forestall the plant hunger protest scheduled to start yesterday. A statement by its National Publicity Secretary Ajere Ajayi Afinfere reiterated its call for the organizers of the protest to call it off in the interest of peace, saying the government has started addressing their concerns. The organization, however, urged the president to urgently ease the trauma of farmers in the country through, among others, an adroit and transparent utilization of the 2 trillion naira package recently approved for the accelerated stabilization and advancement plans, of which agriculture is a key component as forwarded by the Presidential Economic Coordination Council. House of Representatives Special Joint Committee investigating factors working against the petroleum factor has directed the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited to halt what it called the mortgage of Nigerians' future crude oil until it concluded its assignment. This is coming after the committee chaired by the lawmaker representing Idato South, Idato North Federal Constituency, Imo State, Ikenga Ugo Chinyere, commend his probe of shady deals in the sector, while the committee's directive followed reports that NNPC is planning to borrow an additional $2 billion in crude oil-backed loan from international creditors to boost its financial inflow. The Group Chief Executive Officer of NNPC, Mele Kari, said the national oil company was in discussion with the international creditors to raise an oil-backed credit facilities, adding that, square to recent findings that the national oil company was struggling to pay international oil traders as backlogs of $6 billion subsidy removal. The statement issued by Ugochimere said the lawmakers urged NNPC not to undermine the forensic investigation by the House of Representatives with another fresh loan, warning that the move, if allowed, would further worsen the situation of things, strive the refineries of feedstock, as well as weaken revenue generation and create room for waste of future revenues. He also said the committee, in its ongoing investigation, is probing an allegation of